My camera's doing weird things again. Turn that off. Turn it back on. There we go. It's Mellow Todd, so you guys could go there if you wanted to see me. But let's begin. So you guys all have your characters. The premise of this campaign. Oh wow, it's doing it to all your screens. Let's see, why would that be? There must be something using my resources. I bet it's Steam. Let me close Steam. Yep,
I will
I
just
closed
say
Steam
that
and it.
the actual stream looks fine.
Does it really? Maybe it's because it's capturing it as a source. Oh well. Alright, so anyways, I think you guys said you wanted to do the race war campaign? Or do you want to
That
do
works
the
for me.
dystopian one? Okay.
Whichever, yeah.
Actually, I guess either works.
Well, I'll let you guys decide. Dystopian or race war?
Probably dystopian now that I think about what kind of
Dystopian?
character I have, actually.
Okay, gotcha. Alright, you guys all have to help me whenever you feel like you're in a situation where you have a trait that might come in handy. Because I don't have all your character sheets, let me know so I can try to factor that in and just read it to me when it comes to it, and I'll be able to say, alright, yeah, that would account for this situation. We'll go ahead and add it. So, since we're doing the dystopian one, let me pull that up real quick. I'm going to read over it for just a second, get a brief grasp on it.
I'm just gonna do this.
I'm trying to think of what race would predominantly be the ruling race here. We'll say it's an older human world, so it's not Terra Nova. Terra Nova is the home world of the humans. It's set in modern times, like 90s, 2000s era Earth. We're going to say it's an older civilization, an older planet where humans exist. And this civilization is very almost medieval. Worship they worship these divine beings, or what they think are divine beings, things like dragons and unicorns and just mythological beings that like Minotaur, all this random stuff. And they don't understand it that way. They kind of are humble towards it. They believe that it's their god of sorts. So with that being said, you each are coming into this world. You've been invited to tour it because you are basically renowned adventurers. So you come to this planet and you arrive. We're gonna say that you each come in on the same ship. You're kind of been riding on. It's almost like a tour bus of sorts, but it's more like a bus to the planet. It's a space bus, whatever you want to call it, spaceship. I don't know. Hey, Jason, welcome on Twitch. So
Shuttle.
space shuttle, yeah, that's a lot better. I like that. 10 points for Gryffindor. All right, so you land right in front of this building. It looks like a kind of like a museum slash school. It's got a glass wall on the outside that displays a lot of different cool looking artifacts and relics. And you get off, all three of you at the same time. And let me determine the turn order. That's something I didn't do. So the way that we do this is we roll for initiative. So I'm going to roll for each one of you. I roll 3d6, and I'm going to add the totals together, and whoever has the highest total, I'll tell you each your total. We'll go first in the order from greatest to least. So I'll roll for you first, Kitten. Kitten, you roll a 4 plus 6. You roll a 10. So you've got a 10, Kitten. You roll a 11, Witty. And then Shiro, you roll a 4. So I think it goes Witty to Kitten to Shiro. And let me.
Is it initiative sort of thing?
Yeah, this is initiative. This determines which order your turn goes in. I'm just gonna write it down over here so I don't lose track of it. This is a game called Tiny Frontiers. It's kind of like D&D, Jason. Thanks for asking on Twitch.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Kitten have a trait that made her go first every time?
Yes, but that's in
I've seen that.
combat.
Okay.
I was about to say I have the same thing for combat too, Born Fighter,
Yeah.
I think.
Yep.
But this is just.
I didn't realize it was combat only.
Yeah. No worries.
Wait, if you've both got it, then who goes first if you're both in combat?
Technically, it's not who goes first. It just means that we both get a round before combat.
Yeah. So it goes
Right.
Witty, and then Kitty, and then Shiro. Alright, so we got that now. And then I'm thinking that, wow, Steam just popped up again, then I had to close it, and now it's closing again. Alright. So you guys arrive at what looks like we'll call it the Dragon's Nest, and it's basically a big educational school of sorts, a facility where you guys have been invited to learn more about the culture of this planet. You don't know a lot about this planet, but you all land on the space shuttle kind of in front of the facility. You get off, you see there's several other space shuttles that have arrived to kind of import a lot of people. You look around, and we're going to start with Witty. Witty, based off of what I've rolled here, you don't see a lot going on. You just see kind of people filing out of buses. They're walking towards the beginning. You see like a tour guide up at the front, or like a few of them trying to gather groups of people together. And you have the option to go back in the bus, check out, see if you had anything in there. Maybe somebody left something behind. You can ask people near you what's going on. What have they heard about this place? You can go to a tour guide. You can even try to bypass the tour guide and walk right inside. What do you want to do here?
I'm going to go ahead and go to one of the tour guides. They seem like well-employed individuals. They might know something.
Okay, so you walk up to a tour guide. Now you have 2 moves in every turn, so I'm going to count this as your first move. What do you want to say to the tour guide?
Greet him, introduce my name, telling them, I'm Georgie Schlip, to be corporate executive. I'd just like to kind of get to know. What would he recommend? Good dishes, good food.
Very cool. Hey,
Where
Joe
not to
wants to
step.
join. Joe, yeah, get in here. Go into the general channel in VC. Joe is one of our longtime role players. He just told me he wanted to go. So you asked him, you said you're a corporate executive, and you said what now? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
To
cut you.
be corporate executive. No,
Yep.
no, you're good. I'll just ask him, what food to eat, what holes to step in, what holes not to step in. Mano y mano. What would he recommend?
Yeah, he says, well, and I'm going to roll. Do you have any like charisma traits or anything that would give you an advantage in this role?
I don't actually think he's not upset, so no.
All right, so then we'll just roll 2 for you. Now, the way the rolls work, just so you're all aware, when I roll a dice, if it lands on a 5 or a 6, that means you succeed in the roll. So you rolled a 5 on one of your dice. You actually rolled a 3 and a 5. So you ask him, hey man, what should I look out here? What's going on? He said, all right, so I'm going to tell you a little secret. He says, stay away from the robotics in there. He says the robots aren't all that they seem, and you don't want to get too tangled up in the mess here. Just kind of believe in the magic. That's what we do here on this planet. Hey, Joe, what's up?
Magic.
Hello.
Hello, Joe. You sound very clear with your
Yeah.
A40s. I think they are, aren't they?
Yes, I am here and I'm well and I'm happy to join you guys. I saw you were online, so I was like, I'm gonna.
Yeah, it's always great to see you. Now, have you done it with the new method yet, the Tiny Frontiers method?
Uh,
I think you may not
Probably
have.
no.
Okay, so go into Getting Started and go ahead and craft a character for yourself. So what you'll do is you'll go in there. There's like 5 bullet points where you'll have to read and see how you make a character. You'll have to choose a heritage, 3 traits, or 4 depending on your race, and a few other things. And then once you do that, let me know. Just DM me, or just tell me here, and then I'll get you in the character list. So I'm going to add you at the very end of the go around, and when you get ready to do all that, you have your character sorted out, we'll get you in. And it's not very complicated. If you need any help, just tell me. Sound good, Joe?
Okay. Sounds beautiful.
Perfect. ASMR, I love it.
Voice is clear. That
I
is
know,
so
right?
crisp.
It is crisp. It's nice mic.
God damn.
But yeah, check out the getting started part of adventure creation in the tabs to the left, and you'll be good to go.
Yes, sir. On it now.
And welcome, Dragon. It's good to see you on here. All right, so you have one more turn. So you've gotten this response from the tour guide, Witty. What would you like to do with your second turn? You want to just, hey man, you want to take me on a tour? You want to walk past him? You want to ask a guest, hey, what brought you to this planet? See who you talk to, or
Well, corporate office always said networking was a good skill. I'll go ahead. Let's talk around. Let's see if I can make a friend.
all right, let's see what kind of friend you make. Hopefully, you roll high. All right, you roll a 4 and a 6, so that's pretty good. You turn around, and you're talking to some random person, and you talk to a collective. Now collectives are a robot race, so they're like pretty intelligent, pretty smart about things. Their whole goal in life is to gather information for their race, so they always take information and take it back to the planet. And the collective says, "Greetings, human." It says, "We are so excited to meet a fellow adventurer today. We came to gather information, but we met a human. How exciting! Yay!" It says, This race is supposed to have supposedly very efficient technology, which is weird because it's medieval. What could they possibly have that would be advanced, you may wonder?
I do make a passing comment to him I share with him what the tour guide shared with me about the robots and how the ones here aren't quite what they seem and that they should be avoided.
Okay. He says maybe the tour guide was racist.
Maybe.
All
I'll have
right.
to talk to HR about that.
Yeah. So we're gonna go now to Kitty. Kitty, you step off the tour bus, and
Okay.
what do you want to do?
Um, I want to talk to another guest.
Okay. So you walk around, you try to find somebody interesting to talk to. You roll a 6. I'm gonna give you an option here. What kind of race were you looking
Okay.
for? Were you wanting a tour guide or some specific race? Maybe someone from your race. You said you were a
I was a prismatic darken.
prismatic, so you want to look for another prismatic then? Maybe they know what's up. Got
I
that
mean, but
race?
I've already read that prismatic darkens
They don't like each other. That's
other.
right. There you go. You almost fell for that one too.
They don't like each other at all, so I don't think I want to start a fight with anyone right now.
Okay.
Let's go for a tour guide. I do have charismatic on one
There
of
you
my
go.
traits,
Okay. You
so I
approach
kind
the
of want
tour
to use
guide. What do you
that.
want to say to him?
Is there any kind of loops around anything that I need to know that's important?
Okay. What could you tell me that's important? You don't roll successful, so he just says, just make sure you stay on the path when you're going. The tours are pretty structured. Don't wander astray because we don't want to have any trouble. You guys are not from this planet. We don't want any kind of crimes going on. So he's kind of cautionary. He says, just enjoy the
Okay.
tour. You'll learn a lot about the planet. So, all right. And
Okay.
then your second part of your turn, what do you want to do with that?
Don't know. I want to go inside, see what's in there.
Okay, you want to go inside and see what's in. So you go ahead. You're the first one in the building, not so much of the whole people, but like of the group that we have here.
Yeah.
You roll a 6, so you managed to get in the door. You got a wristband on the bus, so you managed to get in perfectly fine. The wristband just kind of scans and it shows that you're a verified tourist. You walk in the door and you see what looks like a giant dragon head. It breathes fire and then it recludes back into like a cave. So basically imagine an entrance with a cave. So it's like a kind of like a fancy looking building. And then the cave goes
okay.
back into like an exhibit. So it looks like a dragon like poked its head out and breathed fire up in the roof. Maybe it was the first group of visitors that went in. And then it just goes right back in. Pretty cool. You didn't
Oh.
expect to see a dragon so early into your adventure.
No, I did not.
All right.
That's cool.
This is called the Dragon's Nest, so maybe it was named literally. Who knows? All right, so we're going to go to Shiro now. Shiro, it is your turn.
Right.
Nope, you beeped at us.
That was not me.
That was me, because good memories.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm glad you
Cheers.
managed to get that pony set up.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thanks to you.
So, okay, well, I step off the bus. I'm just gonna have a look around, take in my surroundings.
All right, I hope you roll high. You roll pretty high. You roll a 6 and a 3. So, you kind of observe the surroundings. You notice that the landing path, it's shaped kind of like a U. So basically, the shuttles come in. They come in at an angle and park. The people get off, and they go back up into the sky. You notice that you notice a little bit more than the other adventurers. So besides tour guides, you notice there's some posts on each side of the U. Like the U's like this, and then there's the posts out in front of it. And they're like watching with sniper rifles, so you get a little bit of a sense of like, oh, this is weird. Why would they be doing that? But you're off-worlders, maybe it's nothing too dangerous going on. But you also notice that there's a lot of strange grading on the side of the building that you're going into. Now you know that they're a medieval society, so glass is pretty hard for them to make. But this weird stuff on the side of the building, you don't know what's inside of it. You don't know why they would have it. It doesn't seem to make sense structurally as to why it would be there in the building. So that's your first part of your turn. What do you want to do with your second part?
I'll approach someone that's in a uniform. You know, someone that looks like a staff member, so to speak.
Okay. Tour
And
guide?
yeah, just I'll query in general about the place, but I would also like to specifically ask about the snipers.
Okay. You ask, hey, this is a cool place. What's going on with the snipers? He says, keep your head down, and then he kind of laughs. You rolled a 1 and a 4, so you didn't have a successful roll there. All right, so now we are on to Joe. Joe, how's the character creation process going, man? You need help?
Oh no, I've got to say this is so in depth
I
and it's so
know.
beautiful. I just have to say, not to take the whole campaign out of trail here, but man, dude, I gotta say, holy cow!
Yeah, it's changed a lot since the last time. So just kind of a forward to
This-
everybody who's watching. Before I had this tiny method that I adapted to what I'm doing, I came up with my own method, and it was okay, but it wasn't really that in depth. It was just kind of like, oh, I roll to see if it works, and we have a few rules here and there. But this is like a whole system that is very thorough. It answers a lot of questions, and it gives you a lot more of a feeling of what am I thinking? Feeling of immersion. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So
Mhm.
definitely
I
good.
really like the collective
Hmm.
heritage.
You should be one. There's 2 different types, you know. You can even
Yeah,
have cybernetic traits with those.
the hologram or the external. You know what? I'll be an external collective.
Okay. So you can choose cybernetic traits now. You see that heritage trait?
Yep.
Yeah. Check those out. You'll like those a lot. So I will. Do you have any other questions before we go on? Because I'll give you some more time, I think.
Let me get just one more round. Let me just kind of, because I see that you have like a character sheet to fill out, so I
Yeah.
kind of want to.
Okay. Yeah, you can do that. That's cool.
Yeah. That way I can be well immersed. So one more round. Let me listen in, and then I'll tune in.
All right. So one of the things I like to do after we do
Uh-huh.
each one of our characters' turns is we roll for the world. So I'm gonna roll for the world and see what happens.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we rolled 2 4s. Nothing really happens. People start filtering in to the building in mass, so there's just a lot of people that have gone into this building. You kind of find yourself surrounded by people. The group is broken up, so you're not all together. You're just kind of like in a huge crowd going into this building. The first group, which was with Kitty, we're not to your turn yet, Kitty, but I'm just touching base here. You saw a dragon, and you're kind of like spreading rumors like, oh, you guys won't believe the dragon in this cave. Like people are freaking out about it. It's like, oh, we don't want to go in there, but then the tour guys could usher people in. So we are back to Witty. Witty, it is your turn. What would you like to do with the first part of your turn? If you're talking, we can't hear you. I think your mic may have cut out there.
There we go. Well, since everyone seems to be going inside, I suppose I'll clap that that collective on the crisp shoulder and immediately regret doing that as my hand hurts and head inside with the other tour group.
All right, you head in. And where do you want to go in there? You want to just look around, see what you see?
Well, I'm a bit of a nosy gentleman, so I think I'm going to go ahead and start looking for clues regarding that robot situation.
Okay.
As a note, I don't know if it helps in this situation, but I do have, where to go? Detective.
Okay.
So I get advantage when searching for clues.
Let me roll for 3. Yeah, that's a great point. Thanks for pointing that out to me. You did roll 1 5 with your third dice, so that was a great thing to point out. So you look around, you're trying to figure out, so what would that guy may have been talking about? I don't understand. You walk into this building now. I mentioned there was glass, but most of it is stone. There's torches on the sides. It's got that real medieval feel. And one of the things that sticks out to you is it looks like there's these rocks in certain places on the roof where you would think, well, logically, those would have to be cameras. However, they don't have the technology for that, so to speak. They just allow visitors to come through who have it. So you're kind of like, why would they have those there? They don't make sense. So it looks like maybe there's something going on behind the scenes here. So that's your first
Definitely not a
part.
medieval society.
Yeah, maybe not.
Second step, I'm gonna see if I can determine the location of, maybe follow where the lines are going with that camera. See if
Okay.
I can basically find a security hub.
Yeah, so you look around for a security hub, but it looks like the building you're in is very linear. You rolled a 1, a 4 and a 2. So basically, it's just a path, kind of like a typical museum. It starts at the beginning. There's a cave where you go in where people are saying, oh, there's a dragon in there. But the torches kind of lead in. So it seems like you're going to have to follow the set path to learn more. So we'll just go ahead and say that you follow the path a little bit into the cave. And you see what looks like a big hatchery, except there's all different types of eggs kind of strewn along the walls and in display cases and stuff. And they say, that one of the tour guides you over here talking about how this is where, or this is a display of how we lay out our hatcheries, where mythical creatures from all over the universe are brought together into this one location, and they're hatched, and then we let them thrive in our society so that we can kind of be a, what would you call it, like a sanctuary for mythological animals that may or may not have gone extinct. So you're starting to learn some backstory of this place. All right, we are back to Kitten.
Yes.
Kitten, it is your turn. What would you like to do?
Okay. I'd like to look around, see if I can talk to anyone.
Okay, you look around and try to talk to someone. Let's see who you talk to this time. Oh, you roll a 5 and a 6. You happen to see someone who looks very wealthy. He's got a suit on. Now it's a medieval kind of like knight suit, so he doesn't look like a gentleman. He looks more like a very established knight. And he has a really weird looking weapon. It looks like a staff, which you wouldn't picture a knight having, and it has a lot of weird crystals on the top. And he looks at you. He says, "Oh," he says, "you must be new on this plane." He says, "I haven't seen you before. What brings you?"
I'm going to tell him that I was invited here and that I am a newcomer. I've never been to this planet before.
Okay. So you kind of tell him what your story is. He says, "Oh," he says, "I thought you were someone of importance," and he walks off because you only rolled 2 1s, snake eyes.
Dang.
So that's the first part of your turn. What would you like to do
Kitten,
with the
don't take
second
it to
part?
heart.
Yeah,
God,
don't.
sir, oof.
Oh. It was like okay.
Oh man.
Dang, that
I want to see if I can find anyone that I got on the ship with in the first place to see
Sure.
if they're inside the building or not.
Yeah, so let's roll. You were right in the entryway, I believe.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, Witty just went into the cave to check out the hatchery. Now, if I think I'm right here, Shiro, you were just now going in, unless you decided to hang out outside more. Am I right? Or where
I
were you?
mean, there's no reason for me to hang out outside if no one's gonna
What are you doing?
really
Okay.
say much to me. So yeah.
What are you doing?
All right, so we'll just say that you go in and you have an opportunity to talk to him. Kitty, what do you want to say? You notice him. He was sitting in front of you in the bus or the spaceship shuttle.
Harry
Um,
Potter.
Down, 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 down. Oh, yo, is it too?
you're a wizard,
I'm
Harry.
gonna tell him if we can kind of stay together so we don't get lost. Cause yeah,
Okay.
probably make a new friend or something.
Yeah, sure. You want to stick together on this one?
Todd, do you remember what my heritage was?
Remind me.
Well, I'll give you a hint. It starts with prismatics.
A darkened?
Oh no, never mind.
You're a darkened too?
Yeah.
Oh, yikes.
Oh,
Never
no.
mind.
Yeah, so you approach him and he's gonna be
You want to
aggressive.
hang
He's
out?
like, "Why are you following me? We're supposed to stay away from each other." But how do you want to handle this? You gotta say it
Flirt.
yourself here. You want to try to run away, Kitty? Maybe this was a great mistake. Maybe you had a bad idea. What do you think?
Um, can he tell that that I'm prismatic, or is he just guessing that?
No, you recognize each other. You're both the same race, which means you're
Oh,
right there in that conflict situation that we were hoping to avoid.
oh no.
So we'll just say, let me roll for something real quick. Yeah, so the
It
crowd
seems
starts to back
yeah.
away, but you see a brief opportunity to maybe escape and go forward into the cave. Kitty, do you want to try to take it?
Evade, evade, evade.
Yeah, and evade.
all I can hear in my head is either flirt or evade. I'm gonna evade.
Okay.
I don't want to die right now.
You go to evade. I'm gonna roll 1 for disadvantage because of that thing, but it's okay. You manage to get away, and you go forward into the cave. You kind of notice that they're the same race, and you have a little bit of a grudge, but it's okay. You get out of there. So you kind of rush ahead. Shiro, Crisis averted. You still feel your blood pumping from seeing another one of your race that you really dislike, but it's okay. You know, maybe it was just your reflection or something. It happens.
Coming up and trying to talk to me.
The nerve.
No, it's just kind of be nice.
You hear a radio broadcast on one of the terminals. It's like a kind of like a speaking terminal. It's talking about something.
I'll have a listening on that. Just
Okay.
lean up against the edge of a wall or something. And
Let's see what you gain here. You roll a 5, so you manage to hear what sounds like a repeated broadcast for small-minded people or maybe children. It basically says, believe in the Dragon's Den. The Dragon's Den is here to rejuvenate the universe. The universe
Oh
has
God,
many
we're in a cult.
mythological creatures of great importance. Believe in the Dragon's Den. It kind of repeats over and over. And you're like, oh my God. Eventually you feel like maybe you believe in the Dragon's Den, but you don't know anymore.
We've accidentally joined a cult.
Hopefully not.
Okay. Can I just have a look around and see if there's anything of interest to me?
All right, you see if there's anything of interest to you. Now remind me, what was your what kind of character do you have here? What's your weapon set? Maybe that's a better question.
Well, I mean,
You're ranged, right?
yeah.
Okay. So you find a slingshot. Looks like an old medieval weapon. Because you rolled a 1 and a 3.
Okay.
Some kid must have dropped it on their way in there. You want to pick it up?
Yeah, yeah, screw it.
All right, you pick up the slingshot.
Stick it in my back pocket.
Yeah. All right, and we are back to Joe. Joe, any questions so far? You good?
No questions. I think I've caught along pretty well. I'd like to go ahead and establish my character.
Sure. So we'll say you get off the bus a little bit late. Let me roll to see what you walk into here.
Oh, geez, bunch of poo is what I'm gonna walk into.
Hopefully not, but you did roll low.
got
So
off the
the
bus
situation
far
is
into the
you get off the
As
last
always.
bus. You're the last person to get off. You know, there's a tour guide. He's like, "Get in here! You're so slow."
I'm back at basic.
Joe's character is suddenly 80 years old,
He's fixing his headphones.
hobbling
So-
off with a stick.
What do you want to do here?
What do I want to do?
Yeah.
Well, so
What
let me
race
just
are
talk to
you,
you
by
about.
the way? Yeah.
So hold on, let me come back over here too. All right, so I am a oh shoot. I am a collective external, so that way I'm a walking AI.
Very cool.
Both of my cybernetic traits, one of them is going to be the augmented reflexes, so I'm able to essentially evade. My nervous system has been rewired, and I also have cyber eyes, so my perception is a little bit higher.
Okay.
Um,
Very cool. I like this.
Yeah.
What's your weapon?
Yeah.
What kind of weapon do you use?
Oh, I didn't choose a weapon actually.
It's basically like you use a gun, which is either medium or long range. You use a melee weapon, which is either light range or medium range. Or close or medium, I mean. Or you can have a long range weapon, which are kind of like the oddity, or a really close range, which is like a dagger.
I'll do long range if I could.
Okay. What are you thinking there? Maybe like a laser rifle
sniper.
or yeah, laser sniper or something like that. All right,
Yeah.
so I'm going to argue that because you have that perception thing, you notice that the tour guide is being a little bit deceptive while he's motioning you forward with one hand. He's got something behind his back, and you're like one of the last ones out there.
All right.
So you got 2 turns here. What do you want to do with your first one?
Well, I want to be a little bit aware of my surroundings, so I want to at least try to scan the area and see what best options I can go with next so I can catch up with the group.
Okay, so you look around for your best options to catch up with the group, and you realize that there's maybe 1 or 2 other tour guides that are starting to come towards you. in addition to the guy who was kind of beckoning you forward. All the other people are pretty much close to the door, and you're close to where the shuttles are going back up into space. So you feel a little bit uneasy, uncomfortable, like something weird's about to happen.
Okay.
So that's your first turn now. Second turn. Hard choice, huh?
What am I able to see in front of me right now?
You basically see, so there's a building in front of you. There's some stairs that lead up to the building. You just got off like a shuttle that just went up into space behind you on like a big U, which is the road that they landed on.
Uh-huh.
And there's a few people lingering towards the entrance that are going inside. And then there's a few what look like tour guides, or the people that are wearing the tour guide outfits, kind of like approaching you slowly. And they've got
Yeah.
their hands behind their backs, so it's really weird. You said you were a collective, right? Oh, this will be great.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't feel like I'm in a safe place or I'm in a safe situation, so I want to try to evade. Actually, in this case,
Okay.
want to see if I can try to get away and embrace freedom.
Okay, I'm gonna roll for initiative for you, and then I'm gonna
Okay.
roll for initiative for the guard. So you rolled a 4, and the guards rolled a 3.
2.
So you actually have initiative. There you go. So you go first. So you notice that one of the tour guides, the one that kind of taunted you at the beginning, he approaches you. I'm gonna say that he has about 4 hit points. How many hit points does your hair to start off with?
8, I believe.
8. Okay. So
Yeah, 8 hit points.
yeah, he basically says, "Look," he says, "I'm gonna make an example of you." He says, "You either come with me right now, or we're gonna fight." He says, "I'm gonna take you somewhere to one of the exhibits, and you're gonna be on display."
And I tell him to kiss my behind, and I'm not gonna be subject to any kind of fight.
All right. So you don't want to fight him. You're gonna try to get out of there.
Oh, no. If anything, I want to just try to kill him
Okay.
before
You want to
having to
straight up?
engage in this
Yep.
straight up counter assassin him if I could.
All right. So you're gonna roll. Do you have any kind of advantage based off the perks you've selected for combat?
The only thing that I have as an advantage is gonna be I'm just either to evade or to have better perception. That's all I
Okay.
have with my eyes and reflexes.
Gotcha. So we'll just roll 2 for you, and if you roll a 5 or 6, you manage to hit 1 point on him. You roll 2 4s, so you miss. You try to hit him. You don't have your sniper rifle. He's still pretty close to you. I'd say about at medium range, and you miss him. He goes to try to hit you. He pulls out like a metal baton, and he rolls a 6 and a 3, so he manages to hit you in one of your arms. You lose a hit point, and then basically you have a chance here. You can try to run past him into the building, or you can back away to get far enough away from him where you'd have that advantage with your long range weapon.
I'm gonna get far back away when I have advantage.
Okay, you're gonna back up and you're gonna try to shoot him. Now I'm gonna argue that since you kind of have a more powerful weapon than a baton, you're gonna get an advantage here, +2. All right, so you manage to shoot him in the torso area. You back kind of far away into the landing area. You shoot him. He loses 2 health. So because of that advantage you had with the long range and perception, I gave you a +1 there. Basically, you hit him. He kind of staggers back. He's like, "Look, maybe we got off on the wrong foot. You know, I could still just put you up as a pretty light in one of the exhibits. You know, you could stay there for a while. We don't get to see technology very much here." He's using his turn to bargain. You wanna work with him a little bit?
And this is my time to just make peace. At this point, I'm gonna decline. But if he insists, then he can die.
Okay, so let's roll to see if you decline. Okay, so he accepts it. He says, I understand you're a lot more powerful than I realize. He says, I'm sorry for the misunderstanding. Sometimes race relations aren't great here with the robots. We don't see many robots or machines in our planet. So please, he says, here, even have this. He gives you like a special wristband that looks a little bit different than the typical one. He says, this is a VIP wristband. He says, you're going to get to go to the front of the line in a lot of the exhibits in there. So please have a great time. We're sorry for any inconvenience. All right, so you want to go into the building now, or you want to stay behind and see what's going on with these guards when you leave?
I'm gonna go inside the building now
Alright.
that I have a way of blending in.
Cool. We'll come back to you. Now we are back to Witty. Witty, you were in the hatchery, man. Now, let me roll for the world first. I forgot to do that. If anything's going on in the hatchery. Well, what do you know? Something is going on in the hatchery. There's a little egg that is hatching. It looks kind of like a baseball, but more oblong, like an actual egg. It's kind of sitting in one of the corners, and nobody seems to notice it except for you. Do you want to approach it?
That seems to be a special calling moment. Sure, I'll go ahead and observe the egg hatching.
All right, so you observe, and what do you know? It kind of comes out of its shell. It looks like a little pixie. It has little bitty wings, and it's really tiny. It looks like a glowing little creature. And it looks up at you, and I guess it kind of imprints on you because it flies up to you and flitters around your face. What do you want to do?
You
Oh,
know
that's so
what?
cute.
This would sell great back at the corporate office. I'm gonna go ahead and snatch the pixie. Let's just stuff it in my jacket.
All right,
No!
you gotta stuff it in your jacket.
This
Yep.
thing is just flown up to you and is going da 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 da.
I'm just like, yes, I am.
Yep.
Huh.
Are you just deciding
Aw.
to sell him?
Aw, it's that promotion.
Can I buy
Oh,
him
that's
from
great.
Witty?
Okay, so you snatch it out of the air, you put it in your shirt. Now, you rolled high, so it doesn't affect you directly. But a guard or like a tour guide comes up. He says, "What happened with this exhibit? There's one hatched here. They weren't supposed to hatch. These are supposed to be sterile eggs." And they're like,
I don't know.
"I don't
I
know.
walked up and it was empty. What was supposed to be in here?
Yeah, what was supposed to be in there?" You roll for it, and they say, "Oh, nothing. These are just the runs that fall off the truck. We put them here for display." You rolled low, so he doesn't tell you what it actually is.
Ah,
Yeah. So because that was
wow.
relatively fast, I'll give you one more turn there to do something. What do you want to do there? You want to progress into the next exhibit? You want to stick around, see what else going on, or ask somebody, tour guide, tell me more about this place?
I'm gonna since I'm noticing, this whole planet in and of itself is a little bit weird. I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can, through a collection of exhibits and also just talking with the tour guides, kind of figure out what's wrong with this planet, because something's definitely a little bit weird beyond just the medieval vibe.
Okay.
Just to see.
You have any hunches?
Do I have a hunch? No, that's right. I haven't seen anyone assaulted yet, including them trying to nab a robot. Well, no, I do. My hunch being, again, the robot thing that the tour guide told me that there's something wrong with the robot. Well, no, I guess that's just the robots, isn't it? I'm gonna see if I can find another clue to pick up on to keep
Okay.
on track with that robot, even if it's just keeping along the path.
Gotcha. So you progress forward through the exhibits a little bit. You're trying to find some kind of a clue as to, hey, what's going on here. You find a map of the world. Basically, it describes a smaller planet. It's not a huge planet. It's not the size of Earth. It's a lot smaller. But basically, there's like a continent, but it's not a continent. It's kind of like a little island. And then there's a river that separates it. And then on the other end, it's kind of a blank area on the map. So the weird thing is that the little island is where you're at. It has the school, and then there's like some housing and stuff on the other part of it. But this blank area is what draws your attention because you don't know what's there and why it's blank. It's kind of some weird runes inscribed there, but you can't really make out what they mean or any type of information there.
It's a bit strange.
Yeah, but you at least have a destination to explore if you do want more information. So we'll come back to you. Kitty,
Yes.
what would you like to do here?
Okay, so I got away from Shiro.
Yeah, that was good.
Oh god. Alright, I think I'm just gonna speed through the exhibits. I don't really see anything interesting about them.
Okay, you speed through. Let's see how your little journey goes. You roll a 6 and a 2, so you speed through, but at the very end, you overhear some tour guides talking, and they're like, "Wow, I can't believe this still works. Like these guys are just so clueless. All these tourists, they have no idea what's really going on here."
See a
Keep that
man
in
stuff a pixie
mind.
into his jacket.
Alright! Alright. Do I pass Witty by any chance?
Oh no.
You roll low, so we'll say that you pass him, but you don't really see him as anyone of interest. You just kind of keep walking while he's looking at an
Okay
egg.
then.
Yeah.
Nothing unethical about this at all.
Alright, whatever. I mean, I'll pass them sooner or later. I'm coming for you, Liddy.
You want to go to the guest
That-
shop? Little tour guide?
Yeah.
Guest shop? All right, so you go to the guest shop, and again, you get to the door, you walk inside, and you see all these different figurines of like mythological creatures, and you even see a wooden like nymph behind the counter that's ringing up stuff, but it doesn't
Nymph.
seem to talk. So it's like a very exotic, rare race that you don't see very much in the universe, but for some reason there's one working in this guest shop, and it's ringing stuff up. So there's like little figurines of all these different things that you can find, very rare. But then there's this wood nymph just sitting behind a counter looking at you.
Fuck the figurines. I want to go talk to little nymph.
Okay. What do you want to say?
Why are
Magnificent.
you here? Why are you just working as if?
Do you have a
Oh,
union?
Yeah, do
The
you
nymph
have
is gonna
a
want to go
nymph union?
home.
why are you here? And where's all your other friends?
So you didn't really roll high. It just kind of looks at you and it has a sad expression on its face, but it doesn't say anything. It kind of reaches out as if you have something to buy. It seems like it's been working forever.
Can I grab a figurine and while I'm handing it to them, can I try and like just snatch them up?
Snap. What do you mean, snaps him up?
You gonna stuff it in your jacket?
No, the nymph is like the size of like a small person. You can't just like get in my
It's a
jacket.
big, it's a big
No,
jacket.
I'm not gonna. I'm gonna just like carry them and like run away.
You're gonna try to run away with the store attendant?
Oh, but
Yeah.
I kidnapped the pixie and I'm the bad guy. But
Yeah.
you're okay.
But
All right.
I'm kidnapping the pig. I'm kidnapping the nymph because I
So-
feel bad for them. They look so sad.
Imagine a person that's like 5'2", 5'4". You want to try to like grab them and like get out of there?
Oh hell no! I mean like I'm like twice the size of like an actual human being, so
Yeah.
I could probably do that.
You might be able to, arguably.
Probably. But no, you're gonna sell the poor pixie. I don't want to hear nothing.
I, this is a means to an end.
No,
Yikes.
it's a thing with feelings.
Oh, it's motive.
Can
Okay, I
I
understand.
try and like convince them to come with me and like I won't hurt them?
Sure. So you try to convince them. You roll a
Can I
6
use
and
my
a 4,
charismatic
so
with this?
yeah, sure. Well, you already rolled a 6, so you
Okay.
try to talk to the nymph. You say, "Hey, we can get out of here together. You look really sad. What's going on?" And it just kind of looks at you with a sad expression, and it makes a hand gesture that you recognize as the word home, and it kind of holds it against his chest and looks sad. So you realize that it probably wants to leave this planet, and you try to talk it into going with you, but it won't. So you basically reach an agreement through a language that you know a little bit about. But
Okay.
if it says if you leave, then I'll leave with you. So you have to come back
Like
for it at the
leave.
end of your adventure potentially.
Okay.
It's
I'll
a
do
very
that.
basic language. It doesn't have a lot of different words. So it's like
Okay.
home, go. It's like come for me, we go home. Stuff like that.
Okay. I will promise it that I'll come back for it.
All right, there you go. So then we are back to Shiro.
Right.
What you thinking, Shiro? Where were you last time we left you, just so everyone can be on the same page?
I was listening to a radio and then picked up a slingshot.
Right.
I mean, not to meta, but from what everyone else has experienced so far, this place sounds very much like a cult, or like a, or more like a menagerie rather than like a museum or whatever.
Mhm.
Right. I guess I'm just gonna carry on into the building and just start walking through and looking around.
You want to look at a directory of the exhibits? Or you just want to kind of breeze through them? Go to the gift shop? Maybe there's something at the, what do you call those little food places in malls? Food court. Maybe
Food
there's something at the food court that would interest you.
I'll flick through the directory, see if there's anything that piques my interest.
Okay. And your character is more of like a, what kind of type would you say? More of like a stealth long range, so.
Yeah.
You roll a 5, so you see like flying creatures. There's an exhibit where there's a glass wall, and you can see creatures that fly around in there. You want to go check that out?
Yeah.
Okay. So you go to that exhibit, you walk up to the glass, you kind of notice something that piques your interest. It's a very long looking serpentile dragon, so it just kind of flies around. Basically, there's like trees, and then this dragon just kind of weaves around the trees while it's flying.
Right. Okay. Um.
You notice
As I
something. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, as I've sort of like approached this exhibit, do I see any oh, what's it like food dispensers or anything? You know, like feed these over.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, you look for a food dispenser. Yes, there is a food dispenser. So there's like a glass port where it basically you open it, you put the food in, and then it closes and it opens on the other side. So you want to put some food in there
Right,
for
okay.
it?
Yeah, yeah, sure. I'll do that.
You
Try
put
and
some
get
food in
it
there
over
for
to.
it. It starts to eat, and when it flies down, it kind of wraps its body around the port, and then it goes in with its hands. And you notice that while it's scooping, one of its hands seems to like glitch a little bit, and then it gets the rest of the food and goes back up and flies into the air. So, all right, that's the first part of your turn. What do you want to do with the last part?
Okay. Oh, wow! This whole place has just come crumbling down in front of my eyes. Um, are there any doors or anything like that say like staff only if I like venture further on?
Yes, but they're heavily guarded. There's like two people, each with a gun on each side, like a shotgun and a rifle, one in the other.
Right.
So you probably don't want to try to break into this place unless you're feeling bold.
Even at the gift shop.
Well, yeah, even at the gift shop, there's a nymph, but there's
Okay.
people with guns and stuff.
Um. Okay. Hmm. I guess I'll just carry on through, just like looking around.
All right. You carry on through, and you get towards the end. Now I'm gonna roll for. Actually, wait, no, we're to Joe now. Joe,
Hello.
hello, Joe. How low can you go? Can you go down, Joe?
I can go down low. I can go low to the floor.
To the
I'm having
floor.
a stroke. I think I'm having a stroke.
All
All
right,
right.
Joe.
So I have walked into the building,
Mhm.
correct?
Yep. You have a VIP pass, which means you can see a very special exhibit that no one else has seen yet.
I want to go see that special exhibit if I can.
All right. You're gonna go see the dragon itself, the big old black dragon that people were talking about in the beginning.
The
So you basically go up a staircase that kind of oversees the cave, and then there's like a dark chamber above all of these exhibits, and you see these red eyes that kind of pierce your soul, just glaring down at you from what looks like a nook in the roof. And you're curious, why is it hiding?
Okay.
How big is this thing? Seems to be pretty ginormous by how big its eyes are.
I want to see it.
You want to see it? How do you propose you do this? You want to try to turn the lights on?
Sneakingly.
You try to
No.
sneak up close to
No,
it?
I'm able to see. I'm able to see in the dark.
There
I'm
you
a
go.
yeah. I don't have to turn on any
Yeah.
lights.
So you want to sneak up closer to it, huh?
I just want to get a better chance of observing it. Maybe if I can get an analysis and be on my way. I want to be as objective as I can here. I don't want to be
Okay.
stupid
Do you have any
or
type of
careless.
advantage? Your perceptive advantage, right?
I'm perceptive and I am I'm perceptive and I am able to evade better.
Okay. So we'll say you get up kind of close. You're trying to get a good assessment of what this thing is, how big it is. You rolled 3 4s, so you don't really roll anything high enough to. Wait a minute. What is perceptive? What does that trait specifically say? Because some of them are like 4, 5, and 6, and some of them say if you get to roll 3.
Not like my eyes don't deceive me. I'm not able to. I don't have to see. I don't have to. I don't require light to see in the dark.
Yeah. I'm gonna look in my big old printed guidebook. You see this, Joe?
Oh, nice.
My
Dude,
wife printed this out for me at her work, and she
your
laminated it on
wife is
cardstock.
amazing for doing. Wow, that is insane.
Yes, it's great. So I'm gonna look at perceptive here.
Cyber eyes ain't no hiding these cyber eyes. When you fail a perception related test, you can choose to retest it at disadvantage.
Retest for it. I'll give you 2 dice since you had 3 originally.
Okay.
So let's see if you manage. Yep, you roll a 6 and a 3. So you go and you get really close to you realize this thing is enormous. Like, it's just a huge dragon. It's probably bigger than the roof of this place. It just crams itself in here. And you're wondering, why would it be so docile? And you notice that at the very end of the dragon, it's kind of like chained. So its legs are kind of chained, so it's stuck in a situation where it can only go forward. And when it goes too close, you see it kind of dip its head down. Sometimes it gets electrocuted by these weird things that kind of suspend down from the ceiling. So it has like boundaries that are set by the structure to keep it in place. Hence the dragon's nest name. You got to have a dragon to bring the guests, but guests that look up, from the exhibit down below sometimes, and they kind of see the dragon and they get startled. So it's kind of a namesake thing. So it's the first part of your turn. What do you want to do with the second part?
Kind of dry. What was it? So what was it? What was it that I was able to do at the end?
You were to determine that the dragon is a pretty big, massive dragon, but it's stuck up there because there's something like chaining it to the walls. It seems much more captive than it's led on to appear to be.
At this point, then I'd like to try to find out if I'm able to. I want to find out the why behind it.
Okay.
Maybe if it's possible, able to catch up to one of my teammates and see what the overall goal is here.
Okay.
Remember, I got off the bus late, so I'm still a little.
Yeah. So we'll say you roll 2 5s. You look down and you see Shiro looking at another exhibit. He's kind of watching a dragon weave in and about. Shiro? Yeah, beep. Shiro, you see a friend waving down at you.
Yeah, I'll look up and like. Well, I assume that I've noticed him. Yeah, so like I'll just.
Yeah, you notice him.
Oi! What are you doing down there? Hello.
Yeah, you guys patch yourselves through some kind of intercom system that you see on the wall for staff. We'll just say that for the sake of the story. What do you guys want to say to each other? What do you want to ask him, Joe?
Hello, mate. I feel a little lost. I'm not sure quite what I'm doing here, but it looks like there's a dragon that's either stuck or I don't know why they have it, but I don't know. I'm still a little disoriented over everything. I'm still just kind of trying to get my bearings, but what do you know? What kind of information do you have?
Okay, so I'm gonna sort of like relay back to him. I was just looking at this little dragon down here flying about. Gave him some food, and suddenly his foot started glitching out.
Okay. What do you think of this, Joe? It's weird.
Its foot was glitching out. That's a little weird.
For a place that has no technology, it seems a bit weird that.
Seems like a simulation.
That there'd be some sort of like digital construction.
Yeah, I think there's something fishy going on. No, I like to I'll take my observances and keep them to myself. But let's see what the whole agenda is for the whole group and see what we can discover.
Okay. So we're going to roll for the world now. You guys have had a little bit of time to conversate. And Joe, just so you know, kind of the premise of this quest was that they were going in to take a tour of like this museum that's really fabled among the galaxies because they have all these mythical creatures that they kind of keep together that are going extinct on other planets. So they came to check it out. But there's a little bit of weird things here and there that kind of confuse everybody. So with that being said, you guys, we'll just roll for the world. Hold on.
Okay.
So we're going to say that the tour is kind of coming to an end. They're basically asking people, hey, if you want to give back, you can spend a little bit of time in our next place, which is kind of like a work place where you can go and kind of do some manual labor to
It's a cult.
do some manual labor to support the fantasy creatures that exist here. You know, they need people to take care of these things. So if you want to spend just a little bit of time together,
Can I talk to HR?
yeah.
Yeah.
So before you get there, we're gonna say that the group kind of comes together, and you've all noticed things here and there that are kind of off about this place, and you kind of gather to the side while everybody else is so excited about all of this. What do you guys want to say? We'll say you've all. This is a whole group thing. So, Kitten, are you there? She may have gone off, I think, just to do something. Oh, she's here. All right.
There's something that
Yes.
I'm curious about,
Huh.
sort of mechanics wise.
Mm-hmm.
Just a sort of theory that I have bubbling in my own head.
Mm-hmm.
But Joe is able to see in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
So I would assume his eyes would be a little bit more susceptible to seeing light, for example. So I'm wondering, and feel free not to answer, but just take it into consideration. If he were to be looking at a certain type of exhibit, would he be more likely to just notice a holographic projector, for example?
Oh, clever. Let's roll. You roll a
Rocket.
6 and a 1, so I'm gonna say that yes. If you look at the right exhibit, you may be able to notice some weird light fluctuations going on.
Mm.
You wanna check that out? Hey, there's this weird exhibit I know with this weird long dragon. You wanna come take a look at it?
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys kind of backtrack a little bit in the exhibit. You guys all want to go together and see what's going on here?
I mean, I would mention it to like the whole group. Like I would
Yeah.
say like, except for Kitten, who I'd like turn my back to.
Oh, jeez.
I'd just say like,
Alert.
We'll say that you
hey,
guys are
you,
tolerating each
uh,
other for now, but if you ever cross each other, it might escalate.
I'm gonna stab
Yeah.
him in the back. That's all I gotta
Y'all
say.
just, y'all just picked the wrong race.
Right.
Wrong race at the wrong place at the wrong
yeah,
Wrong
time.
race at the wrong place.
At the
The
wrong
turns
wrong
out
time.
we did
timing.
race war quest after all. No, I'd just say to like the group, like, hey, have you guys noticed anything weird? There was like this dragon like glitching out, you know, like, do you want to take a look at it?
Yeah.
I did notice a pixie hatched, flew away before I could get to it, but the tour guides were a little bit curious about it. Yeah, I mean, I'll check out some weird. This is gonna end in a
Oh.
mugging, is it? That's not. That's definitely my character talking. That's
Yeah,
not me.
yeah. All right. So,
Um,
what's up, kitten?
I mean, anything else weird would be me just hearing before I left the exhibits, me hearing just a bunch of tour guides talking, and they were laughing at how none of us knew what was actually happening. Maybe they were being a little suspicious.
Mhm.
Well, actually, now that you mention it, one of the tour guides did mention to me that I should look out for the robots and avoid them because there's something odd going about the robots. Another collective gentleman I was talking to mentioned that they might just be racist, but I don't know. Maybe you've seen something
I
that would,
mean, I don't know.
suggest
They were
this.
just. I mean, they were just really acting weird. They were laughing, but it was only a group of tour guides. There were no like, no, there was no one around. I just heard it while I was passing, and also,
It's
I
almost like everything is fake.
yeah.
The tour guides have been acting like weird galactic IKEA. You know, something is going on.
Galactic IQ.
I mean, I do have to mention that I did pass a wooden nymph
All right.
that seemed really upset and sad, but oh, it's his wife.
Yes. Hello, Christy. You're on
She
stream,
seemed really
Christy.
sad though, and she
Hello.
seemed like
Hello.
hello. She seemed like she didn't want to be there.
The
Yeah.
wood nymph?
So, yeah, she was working at the gift shop.
Mhm.
Hmm.
It,
All right.
I'm gonna mention the crazy radio station looping and just be like, I think it's a cult. They're just scamming people out of money. Like none of this is real.
Could
I thought
I,
it's just for money.
I don't know if we can make rolls during this like communicative point, but can I use my learned thing to like even remember if I have heard of this tour
Yeah,
scam scheme.
you said learn trait? Let me read that one real quick. You can read it to me if you have it in front of you, but I'm gonna try to
Yeah,
look
I
it up.
copy and pasted.
Yeah, go
If
ahead.
you ever need a piece of information and you can't find the answer, you can test with this advantage. If successful, the GM can give you a tidbit that will aid you.
All right, let's roll 1d6 and see how learned you are. Oh, you're very learned. You rolled a 6. Wow, not 6. Okay, so you've heard that in this specific part of the galaxy, there's a planet that is known for exploiting people for money, but that's really all you know. Just something going on.
Now that you mention it, actually, why the hell did I get on that shuttle? Maybe a coincidence. In this part of the galaxy, along with this planet, there happens to be a planet that also is a pretty good corporate office doesn't like the word scam, but we're gonna go ahead and use the word scam. Now that I think about it, this could be that planet.
Yeah, it could be.
But then
Could
again,
be.
we didn't pay to come here. Are we the
I
payment?
doubt it's just for money because there's so many exotic things here.
I'll give you
but
guys
that
a second
wouldn't
to discuss it, and I'll be right back. I want you to come up with a theory as to what might be going on here.
Well, they
that
do have
would've-
Santa's little workshop, and they're trying to stick elf ears on me. So I got a feeling that we may be the labor. But then again, what is the labor?
Wow, we might
They
not.
What if they're trapping exotic things here?
What
I
if
mean, this
we're
is a
the new
human-based
exhibits?
planet.
there's got to be a mastermind to all of this, and he's making buku money. He's getting a lot of people to just come by, view these exotic viewings, and there's some hidden agenda going on.
Well, we could find it out. I mean, I'm sure he has kneecaps made out of flesh and bone.
True.
I mean, we could talk to him.
I don't really think talking is gonna do anything. We could tie him up and torture
Kneecaps
him. I mean,
sounds
yeah.
good.
I mean, yeah, definitely talk to him.
All right, so what are
Definitely.
you thinking here? Any theories?
Well,
We're definitely not gonna murder the E CEO.
Yeah, definitely.
Not gonna run
well,
this-
we can also use my perceptive abilities to our advantage. So if we start talking with him, my eyes are they can't he can't deceive my eyes. I can see his vitals. I can see if
Oh,
he's
it's like a fucking
With your
KFX
special eyes.
where
he's
you've got,
pretty
like,
he's
Oh,
pre-
I sound very charismatic.
Who are you wanting to talk to here?
if he's very if he's perspiring or if he's trembling or his heart rate starts going up.
We've assumed at this point
Mm.
that there just must be like a doctor, what's his name from Jurassic Park, that's running all of this.
Oh,
Right.
We have no evidence of this. We've just assumed it, and now we're apparently formulating a plan.
yeah.
To kill somebody. I
To
mean,
kill somebody,
talk
oh.
to somebody.
Can negotiate
Gotcha.
violently.
Yeah, negotiate.
Very cool. So in that case, we're gonna go ahead and say that. Well, you never told me. Do you want to go back to that exhibit, or do you want to just bypass the exhibit and maybe go somewhere else? You don't really know where else you could go. Well, at least most of you don't.
Well, you said you saw something strange. You have special eyes. We might be
Yeah.
able to connect this.
Where are you guys wanting to go? It's kind of everybody's getting hoarded onto these buses, right? So they're about to go do some work for the good and benefit of all the fantastical races out there.
Is a quick question: Is the pixie in my jacket distressed at all, or is it just fucking chilling next to my pens?
I'm gonna roll for it. No, it's clawing the fuck out of you. It's like, get me out of here.
I'm gonna. As a side note, I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can use my psionics. What is it called?
No.
Quell to make it not do that.
Oh, that's smart. Yeah. Is that an advantage roll? Oh, your cat is so fluffy. Looks like Garfield. Do you
That's
get
right, you get
advantage on that roll, or do you just?
No, but I get advantage on the next roll if I pass.
Okay, so let's see. Yep, you roll a 6 and a 4, so you do manage to quell it. It seems to kind of
Hey,
just curl
chill
up
out.
on your chest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like up. Okay. All right,
How
big
often does
person.
Cat eat lasagna?
Lasagna. All right, so
Okay, big person.
what's the next step for everybody?
Probably go to that exhibit and see if his brand is able to determine that
Somebody's
that
fake.
we're not looking at holograms. That I have a fake pixie stuffed in my jacket.
Okay. All right, so Joe, it looks like the people need
Oh,
you
looks so happy.
to look at
The
this
cat looks so
exhibit.
happy.
You don't have
Wait,
to
say it
stop
again?
petting the cat. You can keep petting the cat. So basically, you are going to this exhibit. It sounds like they want you to go look at this dragon exhibit and see if it's real or not. You go check it out.
Yes, I do. I would
look.
love to.
I didn't know that I was muted.
Oh, what were you thinking, kitten?
Can I take? Can do I have to go by myself or because I don't want to? I
I
don't
think
want to
the
be
whole group's
like.
gonna go with
no,
you.
I'll
Okay.
guide you to
Do we have to
it
go
and
with the
choose-
buses?
If you're sneaky, maybe not.
That's what I was gonna advise the group
So
to do.
let's see how
Like sneak
sneaky you
away.
are. You go to the exhibit, right? You start heading there, all of you. You get
I
there.
mean, I have a sneaky trait if that helps.
Does that give you an advantage?
Ooh.
You gain advantage when
Okay.
testing to hide or sneak around.
Yeah, so you manage to sneak back to the exhibit perfectly fine. Then you get there. Joe looks in with his cybernetic eyes, and he tries to see what's going on weird in here. He looks at the dragon that you saw, Shiro. It's kind of curled up and sleeping in a corner. And what he sees is kind of weird. It looks like a cybernetic shell of an animal that projects light that makes it look like it has skin.
It projects light from itself.
Yes. And its eyes look weird too because they look like normal eyes.
The Scooby Doo.
Scooby Dooby Doo, where are you?
Okay.
So we're gonna start here. You guys still have to figure out what you're gonna do as a group. So where do you want to go now?
Is there a way maybe we can try and break the projector, see what it actually looks like?
You'd have to break into the
Mhm.
exhibit. Do you want to risk that?
I would say. Do I know about the pixie in your jacket? Because
You-
of like the ruckus it's made and. Oh wait, didn't you tell?
No, sir.
No.
I
That's
said
his
that
secret.
I saw a pixie hatched and then it flew away.
Yeah.
Oh, you
You
did.
could divulge the secret if you want, but I don't know. You'd have to ask. It'd be kind of a weird thing because you're not really aware of it.
I was about to say, I don't know these people.
Yeah, I don't know you guys. I need a
I
promotion.
mean, half and half of the group could split up, and like someone could keep watch while the others go and see what's going on with the.
Jinkies gang.
I was just wondering if like we found out about it because it started making a bit of fuss in your jacket or whatever. But
I was just scratching them. I wouldn't say it was kind of tiny, so it's hard
Okay.
to, you know.
that's fine.
Feel.
All right.
If I hadn't made it chill the hell out, you probably would have known.
Yeah. I'm gonna roll,
Well,
True.
and
I'm gonna-
basically, based off my roll here, you determine that there's footsteps coming towards you guys, but from the beginning of the exhibit. So you're either gonna have to go back towards where the other people were in the bus, or go into one of the weird exits. You could always try to get a bus and take it somewhere it's not supposed to go, because they're not like land buses. They just kind of go in a cart, but you could pull one off, you know.
Are the staff only doors still guarded?
No.
Just transferring the cat.
Yeah.
One of them seems to be left open near you.
Well, how
Ooh.
convenient.
Yeah. You
You're
want to
starting
try
to
to
get
go in
restless
there?
on the.
So
Oh, wow.
what I would suggest to the group, looking around or whatever, is we either A, sneak into the staff only door because that's fun, or B,
Ooh.
try and get Joe to maybe look at another exhibit to see if it's the same with like the holographic projection.
We'll probably end up
down.
finding. Fuck, his voice is so loud. We probably have more luck going into the staff only section.
Yeah,
Also,
I
as
was
a
thinking
note,
the same thing.
I'm gonna point to the rocks, the weird rocks I noticed when I came in, and be like, those are definitely cameras. As a note.
Then shoot him down.
I pull out. Wait, do we even have a weapon?
Yeah, you have your weapons. You're allowed
Okay,
to
I
carry
pull out
it.
a collapsible baton. I'm like, oh, hang on, let me just test my goddamn aim.
Just remember, I'm long range.
Can I
so-
like pull out my assault rifle then and just
Oh,
shoot it down?
Jesus. Shoot it down with
Shoot
what?
it
Oh, well,
down.
with this.
Well, you could, but you're gonna cause a ruckus, and that could potentially
Oh,
attract guards to you.
true.
I am your sniper, so you utilize me to your advantage.
Yeah. It's not like
Oh,
someone
it's
has a weapon
true.
that could silently do that.
Can Joe do it?
With pleasure.
Joe, what weapon do
Thank
you
you,
have?
Joe.
A laser rifle.
I'm putting in all my bets to roll high sixes,
Yeah.
Oh God.
and I'm gonna take that with one shot.
Do you have an advantage? I
My
believe you
eyes.
do. You have marksman or cybernetic eyes, right? And are you trying to just shoot one of these rocks? What are you trying to shoot here?
I'm gonna guys, what should I shoot?
be best to shoot all of them so they don't catch us.
I'm gonna shoot all.
Okay, we'll say that you can kind of see the ones above this exhibit, so you decide to try to shoot them and off-put whatever might be watching you. You had
Yes.
advantage, so hold on. Let me roll 3 of these. Yes, you do manage to shoot the 2 that are on each side of the exhibit, and they kind of static, and they fall down, and you realize that there's cybernetic components inside of them. So
Whoa.
something may have
Oh,
been
that's
watching
not.
you, and that's might be why the footsteps are approaching.
Since
That's
I'm cybernetic myself, is there a way that I can analyze these components, maybe utilize them, maybe to our advantage? I don't have knowledge. I don't have a hard drive built in my.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm able to at least access the data.
We'll say that you're able to extract a code from these that may allow you later, if you interface with the terminal, to kind of get into the system, but you haven't gotten there yet. So
Get into the network.
you
then
probably
use
want to
one.
get out of there though, because the footsteps are getting real close, and there's a lot of them.
Right.
All right, gang, let's start running because
I'll hold the
that
emergency
door
door
looks
open for
real.
everybody.
I'd
Hold the
just like to
door.
point out that like I'm gonna grab the sort of like mess that's been made on the floor, like the camera sort of carcasses, and drag them into the door just so whoever's approaching behind doesn't see them.
Okay.
Okay, that makes sense.
So you guys get out the staff only door, and what do you know? You realize that it looks like almost like a dead end. It's like a little cavern, and then there's a chute. And you're kind of watching the chute. You're really curious as to what's going to come down, and then all of a sudden it comes down. It's like a metal pod. The metal pod opens, and inside of the metal pod is what looks like kind of like creatures. So it looks like creatures, but they're all sleeping or unconscious. And oh look,
I
it's the
knew it.
Matrix. Oh no. That's cool. So yeah, basically, you could get in this thing and see where it's gonna take you after you get the animals out, or you could just go in there or
Can I-
do something.
Can I look at the animals?
You gonna look at the animals?
Yeah.
You notice
Can I
a
take one of
few.
them?
They seem very heavy when they're asleep. It's kind of weird. Oh, look at the cat, little kitty.
Kitty. It's all
But
up in his face.
the
Damn.
weird thing about them is they're extremely heavy when they're asleep, and it seems like they're just the basic creatures. Like there were a few mythological. There was like a unicorn in there that was asleep, unconscious, real heavy, and then there was also like a what do you call those things with the 3 heads?
Hydrocephalus.
Uh,
Cerberus. Yeah, like a young
Cerberus.
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 But they're
Hell no!
both
Can I have
extremely
it?
heavy. They're too.
I don't
So
care.
they're pretty big and they're really heavy. You want to try to wake one up?
I kidnapped
yeah,
a pixie
yeah.
and I'm a criminal, but you're just sitting there like, ooh, fluffy.
Cause you want to give it away. You're not gonna care for it. I don't want to hear nothing. Can I please try and wake it up?
Our HR
You want to try to
department.
wake the young Cerberus?
Yes, please.
All right,
Holy
I'd say it
moly,
has
I want to
about.
be Hades in the making.
Can I suggest maybe we advise against that?
Yeah,
Hold
you
on.
might want to. It seems
But
pretty
why?
strong and
I'll
angry.
buy you a
Not
dog
gonna
later.
be
Get in the
a good
goddamn elevator.
idea.
No.
A Cerberus can be very, very powerful, and they're
That
not
is
easy to
true.
tame.
Mm-mm.
I mean, it
Yeah.
was Hades' dog. That's true. But like, I don't.
This
I
isn't
want
Lore
a
Olympus.
dog.
Get in the goddamn elevator.
All right,
Yeah.
so all the group talk
Well, you know,
aside,
Lore Olympus.
Kitty, this is your decision. Kitty, do you want to try to wake up the Cerberus or do you not?
Do I have anything on me that would like
Have
make
a
it
snack.
trust me?
Yeah. So you want to see if it has a snack? You said
Yeah, like if there's anything around that can maybe make it
you can
trust
try to
me.
feed it. Okay. So you roll a 6. You look in the corner of the cavern and you see a big pile of like bloody meat that looks like it might have been torn apart by something. You know, maybe you could tempt it with some bloody meat.
Yeah,
Oh, where
sure,
did
why
that come
not?
from?
I don't know, Woody. What were you doing?
What happened?
Huh? Oh, nothing. Yeah, sure, let's do that.
All right. So you grab a chunk of meat. You walk over to the Cerberus and luckily for you, it doesn't wake up. You rolled high, but you can try to wake it up if you really want to.
Luckily for me. Is that a hit?
It's like you shouldn't do this, but if you really want to wake up the Cerberus, you can. It just might be really tough and hard to kill.
Oh, I want a pet.
Is your
Okay,
name
never
Persephone?
mind.
Because
No.
a Cerberus can go wild and completely kill and destroy everything.
That is
Yeah,
true. All right, fine. I'll get
I
in the
think at
pod.
this point, like seeing her messing around with this dog, like the rest of us would just be like grabbing her arm and just being like, "What are you playing at? Stop being an idiot."
All right.
I don't want the other prismatic to touch me. I'm gonna stab him. All right, I'll get
Okay.
in the pod.
You guys get in the
Grab her
back
shoulder,
part.
like, is that a good idea? She just turns and shivs you. You're like,
It's like, damn. I know we hate each other, but shit.
All right. So you guys decide to get in the back part of the pod, which is going to take you back to wherever that thing came from. So let's just go ahead, and I'm going to roll for the world, see if anything happens before you guys leave. Nothing happens. You rolled
surprised.
low, so that's good for you. You start going back. It's kind of like a trip through what looks like a jungle of sorts, but as you get farther away from the facility, things become more mechanized. So you see like smoke coming from these little bitty smokestacks, and you see what looks like metal rods in the ground, and then there's just different buildings here and there. And then you pull up, it kind of goes up a hill, and then it stops, and it opens, and you see like it looks like a factory of sorts, but there's no smoke coming out of it. It looks abandoned, and there's a door, and there's just kind of like some weird skeletons laying around on the ground in a pile.
Human skeletons?
I was
You
about to
can't
say, do
tell.
they look humanoid?
We're gonna start with Witty. Witty, you got 2 turns here.
Well, first off, sidelong diss comment on how not even all the smokestacks are working, so it's not even an efficient factory.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Maybe
Second
it's
off, I'm
the
gonna go
most
ahead and
efficient factory ever that it has no emissions.
it's off. I'm gonna go ahead and start sifting through the bones.
Okay, you
Not
start sifting
sifting
through the
through, but
bones. You notice
I mean,
something interesting. Oh, go ahead.
no, there you go.
Okay. So, you're looking around. Did you have some kind of an advantage on this?
Investigate. I have
Yeah.
investigator, so
Okay, so you notice with that 3rd die, you got saved by that. You notice that these actually look like authentic skeletons of mythological creatures, except they're all deceased, and they have
I knew it.
obviously rotted away some time ago because they're skeletons, but they're all here in a stack. You're kind of confused as to why this would be.
Sir Bruce.
I think I got a pretty good idea.
I'm gonna see if there's tracks leading out of this area, either footsteps or tractor tracks or car tracks, anything of that nature.
So with the second part of your turn, you kind of realize that where you're at in the factory is like towards this warehouse door that could it's like stuck, partially open, but you think that maybe these skeletons were just kind of thrown out, and there's not a lot of footsteps. There's some that lead up to the pod, but those are old too. So it looks like maybe somebody walked here a few days ago, put something in, and then let it go.
So it seems we're in a dump chute, everybody.
Something like that. All right, Kitty, what do you want to do here?
I want to examine the bones.
Gonna examine the bones. All right.
And she's gonna want to chuck it at a Cerberus.
All right.
I
So
want to examine it for a reason.
Don't tempt her.
you examine the bones. What are you trying to figure out here? You just want to look at a
I'm trying
skeleton.
to figure out what kind of mythological creatures they used to be.
All right. So you roll low. So you just realize that they look. Some of the skeletons are pretty large. Some are smaller. You even see one that looks like the nymph, the bone structure of the nymph that you realized was working in the store. Kind of strange.
Okay. It's weird.
Yeah.
Can
Why
I
would that be?
follow Witty?
Yeah, so you go to follow Witty, and because you have one more part of your turn left, do you want to allow Witty to kind of guide that, or do you want to, what are you thinking there?
I want to ask Witty what he's doing
Yeah,
and
Witty?
what's up with his coat.
Well, you can't really
Oh,
tell
well,
anything that's
actually-
going on with this coat, but
Oh, this is a fine coat, actually. See, my corporation made this for me. This is 2000
Uh-huh.
Egyptian thread. You may not know what Egypt is.
Uh-huh.
However, what I'm doing is I'm actually trying to figure out where the hell we are.
Mhm.
So you guys start to wander off, we'll say in the same direction together. We're going to come back to you guys now. We are to Shiro.
Alright.
Shiro?
Right.
What are you thinking here? Where do you want to go?
Looking at the factory and like the smokestacks and stuff like that and whatever,
Mm-hmm.
does it look as though right, so does it look as though they've been abandoned, or
Um,
have they been like retrofitted so they're like much more modern, so they're like solar powered or something instead?
so you try to figure out what's going on. You just realize that the smokestack's not on. You rolled low. Um, you can't tell. It looks like it's a little bit desecrated, so it's kind of like old and forgotten, left alone. But
Okay.
inside of the little area, like that thing that I told you was partially open, the big warehouse slot, you see cages, and they're just lining the warehouse just all over the place, but you can't see a lot of detail there because it's only partially open and it's dark on the inside.
Right, okay. Um right.
Second part of your turn, do you want to go inside? Do you want to look around more outside?
Um I'll have a look inside.
Okay, you have a look around inside. You go and try to climb up through the little hole in the warehouse. You climb in, and you realize that what you're in is like some kind of big holding cell. So it looks like there's a lot of cages in here. Not a lot of creatures, however. At the very top, you see something that looks kind of like a um, small dragon, except it's very. So in one of the cages, imagine a cage that's about the size of like a school bus too high, and there's like a giant dragon kind of sitting there. It's like a grayish color. It looks ravenous. It's super hungry. It starts to grab the edges of the cage and rock back and forth a little bit when it sees you. All right. So now we are on to Joe. Where did you go, Joe? Joe,
I
Bobo,
have
Bo.
returned.
Oh, hello, Joe. What do you want to do here,
Say.
Joe?
Okay. What do I want to do? So, my last task was. Oh my gosh, my cat just stepped over my cables.
It's all right.
Um. Well, I was last helping the team with shooting down some guards.
Yep. Do you want me to catch you up?
Yes, please.
So they got into the staff only section, and it was like a chute of sorts. A pod came down and opened, and it had some unconscious animals that were really heavy, a Cerberus and a unicorn. You basically got into
Mhm.
the back of the chute and followed it back up, and you realize that at the other end there's like a warehouse door, and there's like a lot of metal structures that kind of led up to that. And right by the warehouse door, there's a lot of skeletons of like mythological creatures, which is weird. And on the other side of the door, which is partially open because it's not completely closed, there's smokestacks and they're not fully working. So like some of them are working, some of them aren't. And the
Mhm.
area directly in the warehouse looks like like lots of cages. And Shiro just went in there and he's like, "Oh God!"
All right. Well, I want to help out Cher as best I can. If I can use my eyesight in some fashion, or however he needs, whoever. Uh, Kitty, I'm not gonna get the Cerberus in any way, shape, or form. Just FYI, she's frozen.
Okay.
Yep, you're
So,
frozen. Yeah. Bye bye.
oh yeah, she'll be back probably. So you got to help Shiro, right?
I want to help Shiro as best.
Welcome back, 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 back again. All right, so you walk in,
Oh,
you
I
see
find what did.
Shiro. He's kind of looking up at the this cage, and in this cage is what looks like a very hungry, ravenous dragon. It's kind of rocking its way up. The cage is rocking back and forth because there's like stacked on top of each other. What do you want to do here? I'm gonna say that this dragon has maybe about 7 or 8 hit points. Pretty strong, hungry looking. Haven't eaten in a long time.
Well, I want to try to detect my eyesight or use my eyesight to see if there's any weak spots. Use my perception.
Good idea. So I think you have advantage on those rolls, right?
Yes, I do.
All right, so you rolled 2 6s and a 3. So you look up at the cage and you
Beautiful.
realize that what would a weakness be? If you shoot one of the cages below it, it'll cause kind of an implosion where the whole structure will kind of fall in on itself. And because there's not a lot of mythological creatures, that not, at least not living ones in this column of cages, it might just collapse inward and kind of crush the dragon, potentially, if you're lucky.
Can
I see.
I ask Joe in this instance, since he's just come and observed the dragon with me,
Mm-hmm.
can he tell if it's biological or artificial?
Oh, good question, Joe. You want to look at it?
Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen. You look at it, you try to realize, is it real or is it fake? It's real.
Witty American, sorry, I keep blowing your ears out.
No, I love it. It's smooth like jazz.
Yeah. It's real. It's a real dragon.
ASMR.
Turn my gain down just a little. All right.
If Joe lets me know about it being biological as opposed to what we observed with the smaller dragon before, I would like to put across a hypothesis to Joe of my current theory,
Okay.
which is that we are not in some medieval non-technology existing planet, but
No.
in fact
It's a real fucking
probably
simulation.
a very advanced civilization that once went around collecting various creatures of some sort and then extracted their DNA in these abandoned factories to recreate artificial hard light holograms or soft light, who knows.
Interesting. It's an interesting theory.
What about it? What if all of this is just a simulation, though? Too. You
Maybe.
thought about that? What if we've entered into a simulated part of the universe?
Morty, it's a simulation in a simulation, Morty.
Morty, you gotta watch out for those simulations, Morty.
I'm Peckle Wreck.
It's clever. I'm gonna say that you're close, but I'm not gonna say that you're right on the money just yet. So, all right. So you guys have this theory, but there's this big old dragon coming down at you, or it might be. You got to figure out what you're gonna do there. So Joe, you want to make the shot? You want to try to make it cave in on itself? You want to leave the dragon
Let's try-
alive?
Take the shot, Piglet.
Can we take the shot, team? Right, you want to take the shot?
Yeah, murder a dragon is fine.
Yeah.
All right. You take the
This,
shot.
this could be the last dragon that is currently living.
Kitty, what are your
Space
thoughts?
is big.
This dragon's like Ridley. You know what Ridley looks like from
Kitten, what are your
Samus.
thoughts?
I don't think Kitten wants to murder the dragon, but then again, Kitten's not cool with the pixie I don't have in my jacket, so.
Kid's like, I'm watching TV, guys. I can't hear you right now.
Yes.
What are your thoughts? Should we?
Is
should
the
we try to
genocide of the dragon yay or nay?
genocide?
Genocide.
Jesus. Don't say that to me. You know I
Eradicate.
love animals. Is it attacking you?
It's about to.
It's about to if we don't take our next steps carefully.
Basically,
Did you do anything to it?
It's starving.
Not yet.
It's on the verge of death. We're basically PETA.
Yeah.
What
It's
are you
essentially
doing in the background?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. What is that? Is that your dog or
Hmm?
cat?
What are you?
Is he?
Oh, that's my girlfriend. I'm
Oh,
pecking clothes. She's just sleeping.
oh, okay.
Oh.
I was wondering.
she's sleeping with her leg over her leg.
Oh,
That's why you see the foot kind of going back up. And I recognize that.
yeah.
I reckon.
Okay.
Because you never.
Woody America's he's just going with it. He's like, you know what? Plus ultra.
I'm gonna
realized-
stay in the chair now.
I just realized what your shirt said, and I'm just in love.
I doubt the dragon.
this is
could
not
do
the only
much
one I have.
damage if it's at the brick of death. I mean, can we keep it?
Can we keep it?
Last time we kept the dragon, that was ended. Oh, that's beautiful. Last time we kept the damn
Oh.
dragon, it ended very bad.
The shot
Y'all want to
glass
talk
fell
about the last time we kept the dragon? Y'all want to talk about that?
There was a last
Wait.
time?
Kitten, you weren't here for that, were you?
No, I was not. I mean, what is he gonna do? Sit under the brick of death. We can literally kill him.
From the little I know and the little I remember, dragons they're not tamed easily unless they're from birth, and normally they just don't
Oh,
harm us, but they will kill everyone else if they're out in the wild.
Oh, what am I doing?
Plus, this is a hungry dragon. It looks like it
Wait,
hasn't eaten in.
I have Quell.
So
I'm gonna try and just make the dragon chill out.
Good
be the first.
idea.
God damn it! I keep forgetting I have
Is that
powers.
advantage or no?
No, that's just normal.
Okay.
Oh,
The dragon does not chill out. It seems to even more enrage the dragon. The dragon is hungry. You rolled 2 twos, so it goes to
Take
try
the
to
shot,
break the
Nicholas.
side of its
Can I
cage.
go?
But
Can
Joe,
I go
you
to
have a
try?
window.
in a different area.
What do you want
Can
to
I
try?
go try and find some food to get some food?
You
Oh,
might
the
hear
dead
something
body
going
I
on
had!
inside of there, but you're outside of the warehouse right now, so you can like try to find something maybe to quell these angry, hungry shrieks you hear inside. But
What about the dead body I had?
dead body you had.
I mean, the bloody meat!
Oh, well,
In my
that was back
inventory, you
farther
can
in
see
the.
a corpse.
Yeah.
True. I just can see
It's
the
like
dead body.
Oh, whoops.
Can I try and look for something?
Yeah, we'll say you hear something hungry inside. You look for something. We'll just say you find like a dead, like fried, what looks like a raccoon just kind of like suspended in some kind of weird way near you. Maybe it was fried in some kind of electronic apparatus.
Alright,
But
can I throw it at the dragon then?
well, you're not in there yet. You found it. You're gonna start making your way there. But for right now, Joe needs to make a decision. So Joe, you're gonna make the shot.
I'm gonna hold off.
Gonna hold off. Okay. Anybody else want to do anything? I think it's just you and Shiro right now in there with it, right?
Shiro, well, before I don't take the shot, do you suggest that we hold off, or should I just go ahead and take it?
How pissed does this dragon look?
Well, imagine yourself
Looks-
if you haven't eaten in like 4 days and you're super hungry.
It's
Those things are murderous.
fucking pissed.
Yes. So
It's ready to us up.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, okay.
Mhm. You guys are okay. So you're not gonna make the shot, I'm guessing.
Take the fucking shot.
All right, I'm taking the fucking shot.
All right.
Take the shot,
You're
Pickle.
taking the effing shot. Let's see what happens. You take the shot.
Jesus Christ.
Fucking
You
hell, the
manage to
ambulance
land the
is on
shot,
way
so you
already.
shoot one of the weak points in the cage below the dragon. The whole apparatus kind of falls in, and the dragon breaks free. But instead of having, I think I said 7 hit points, it now has 5 because it's been weakened by the fall. Now it turns around and it looks at. We're gonna roll for initiative here. First off, the dragon rolls a 12. Witty, since you're outside, you wouldn't really be affected, but you can go in there after these two. So Shiro rolls a 6, and Joe rolls a 11 or no 12. So it's you and I need to make a tiebreaker here. I'm gonna roll 2d6s. So 1 for you, Joe. You roll a 2, and the dragon rolls a 4. So it looks like the dragon's gonna attack first. Sorry about that, Joe. All right, so Joe, the dragon looks at you. It kind of starts flying towards you, and it manages to scrape you. Yeah. It manages to scratch you across your chest. And how many hit points do you have?
I have 8 hit points, so I went down.
I'll argue that, yeah, it would take you by 2. This dragon does a lot of damage per swipe, so it does you 2 damage, and you now have 6 hit points. So you witness this, and you have an opportunity to retaliate. Joe, do you want to try to do something here?
Hell yes, that dragon's going down.
Now, I'd recommend you try to like get away and maybe let Shiro do some damage while you try to get to a long range.
Evade.
Evade, yes.
Yes, like far evade. Like I want to. If I roll high, I want to get to a vantage point where I can.
Okay, so we'll say you roll to evade. You evade its next attack, and you kind of progress further off into the cages to maybe get to a vantage point and try to take a shot at this thing. Now I'm going to say you even have another turn. You can try to use it to take a pot shot at it now at a disadvantage, or you can use it to focus for your next attack.
I want to focus. Use it to focus for my next.
Okay, to use it to focus. Now we are on to Shiro.
Shiro.
You see this dragon? It just clawed Joe. It's looking at its hand. It's kind of licking the blood off, and then it looks at you. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna use.
Or not blood, but like light crystal, like in a little powder. It's just licking whatever it can off of its hand now. But Shiro, what were you saying? What was your weapon type, Shiro?
Ranged.
Range. Let's hear about mid-range away from it.
Well, I was well, heavy ranged, but
Oh, heavy range.
yeah.
You might be able to back away before it attacks you. You have 2 moves here. You potentially run away and then shoot it. What are you thinking? You could also improv weapon it, but that would be at a disadvantage. Try to just hit it with something or do something to it. I allow for
I'm gonna
creativity.
use my first action to focus,
Okay. Good idea. And then you want to attack?
and then yeah, with my second action, I will shoot at the dragon.
Okay. So, because you're not at the range that you should be, I'm going to give you a slight disadvantage, but because you focus, instead of making that a 1 roll, it will be a 2 roll. So, let's see. You roll a 6 and a 3, you managed to hit the dragon. Now, the dragon was at 5 hit points, it is now at 4. Alright, so let's see here. We've done those 2. Now, I'm going to say that, Witty, you hear something going on inside the factory. You hear your friends, they're kind of calling for help. They're like getting scratched and hit and stuff. What do you want to do here? You want to rush in to their aid? What kind of weapon do you have?
I have a baton in my mind.
Yeah.
One of these being way more effective against a dragon.
Now, if I remember, there may be some like attacks you can do to it with your telepathy.
There is
Yeah.
bio. What is it? Bio-organic shock.
Yep.
Um,
You could do that
as in,
from really anywhere.
does Born Fighter take any effect, even since we were outside of the room?
Yeah, we'll say that that's actually a great point because you have the first here. I'll give you the chance to. You could use 2 turns to attack it twice, and on each you'll have the initiative because it won't be able to detect you outside of that warehouse. You're kind of using a psychic attack. If that makes sense.
Does I guess since I know the dragon's there, I don't know, through fluff, I guess I know it's pissed.
Mhm.
Can I try again to calm it down, to quell it?
You can at a disadvantage, but that would waste one of your attack turns. You sure you want to do that?
Why not? Yeah, give it a try.
You try to quill it. You roll a 4, so it doesn't work. You have 1 more turn.
How dare you?
I would attack it.
I'll go ahead and Bioshock, or Bio-organic shock.
You roll a
Kitten's ready to
1, so
destroy
it
this
seems
dragon.
like the lead lining of this building is not going to allow you to attack it from outside. Strange.
Ooh.
My superhero is disadvantage. Lead.
Oh no. Alright, so then we have Kitty. Kitty, you were outside too. You heard a loud ruckus. You have this dead animal in your hands. You want to go throw it at the dragon, or what are you thinking here?
Yeah, I'm
Go!
gonna go throw it at the. I'm gonna try and use my charismatic on the animal and just try and throw the food at it.
Okay. I mean, it's kind of like a wild creature, so there's not much charisma can do. But
True.
you do throw the animal, and because you threw the animal at the dragon, it starts to eat it, which gives your teammates some time to kind of recuperate. Now you have 1 more move. You know that you're probably not going to be able to negotiate this with this thing. Do you want to try to attack it?
Take the shot, Piglet.
No. I don't
Pressure.
want to do it.
Pressure. Kitty.
Murder with your friends.
Yes.
Murder.
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 You guys are evil.
No, we're
I ain't
just corporately
saying-
interested.
I ain't saying anything.
Nope, she disappeared. It was too much. Too
Wow,
much.
that was a lot of pressure.
Yeah. She's like, I can't do it. Oh, there she is.
You can't survive in this galaxy with ethics.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Wait a second, aren't you an assassin?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was, but like for reasons. Okay, I only killed for reasons. If it was
Oh.
good reasons.
Tell me your
Freedom fighter.
traits real quick.
Keeping
I am
yourself
a
alive
born
is a good reason.
fighter.
Okay.
I'm a die-harder. I'm a die-hard, and I charismatic.
Remind me what Die Hard means.
It means I believe it means when I hold on.
It means you shoot a German guy out of a tower on Christmas
I'm
movie.
not.
Oh no,
Oh
it's a stat.
Jesus! I'm not going down that easy. When an attack would reduce you to 0 hit points, it instead reduces you to 2 hit points. You can
Okay.
do this once a day.
Okay, well, we won't worry about that one just yet because you haven't gotten attacked.
That
Yeah.
sounds like hacks to me.
However, the dragon, I mean, you
Born.
mentioned you used to be an assassin. You could take advantage of its weakness while it's eating right here to do an attack that does 2 damage to it. And right now it's at 4 health, so you would basically cut its health in half if you manage to land the attack.
Okay.
Alright, what's your weapon type?
Heavy, and I have an assault rifle.
Alright. So you go to try to take a shot at this dragon. And you roll a 3 and a 4, so you shoot over it. It kind of looks up at you and it goes to attack you. And it rolls a 5 and a 6, so what do you know? It kind of bashes you backwards. It kind of drops the animal and smacks you with its head. And you go backwards a little bit, and it does 2 damage to you. How many hit points did you start out with?
7.
Okay, so now you're at 5. And guys, keep track of your hit points. It's hard for me too when I don't have your character sheets in front of me.
Did I get hit at all? I don't think I did.
You haven't been hit yet, Shiro. Wait, no. Was
Should
it you
I-
that it scratched, or was it Joe?
I think it was.
It was Joe.
Okay, then yeah.
It
Alright,
Can I
scratched me
use
and I
my
didn't like it.
born fighter in
um,
this situation?
you already did to throw the animal before it had an opportunity to.
Oh, okay.
So now we're back to Witty. Now give me a second. Oh wait, who was the first person to attack? It was Joe. So we went Joe, Witty, and then no, we went Joe, Shiro, Witty, and Kitty. So that's how we'll go again. Now before this, we need to see what the dragon does. Let me roll for it. The dragon goes over. It rolled high, so it grabs the corpse of the animal that it was eating, and it just kind of downs it in one go, and it recovers 1 health. So now it's to 3 health. All right.
I thought the dragon went after Joe.
The dragon was, but it got distracted by the animal that Kitty threw.
Okay.
Thank you, Kitty.
Yes. So now we are back to Joe. Joe, you were focusing in an attack here, I think, right?
Yeah, I was evading so that I can get to a vantage point.
Mhm.
And so I did save one of my turns, I believe, in order to
Focus.
focus. Yeah, to
Yeah.
increase the focus. So I do have the intention to take the shot, mate.
Okay.
And if there's an opportune moment here.
Yeah. You go to try to take a shot, and you roll what you need. So you manage to hit a shot on the dragon. You do 1 damage, so now it's down to 2. Now you have 1 more turn. You want to take another shot?
Guys, what do you think? Do you think I should take another shot?
Yes, kill it.
Kill the
Yeah.
dragon!
Come on,
Yeah,
what's one extinct species in the galaxy
Murder,
that's infinitely expanding?
Alright, you
Murder,
take
Murder.
another
murder.
shot. You rolled very similar to your first roll. You had a 5 and a 3, so you managed to hit it again. It's down to 1 health. It kind of looks up at the sky and makes this pitiful cry, like really loud. And then it is now your turn, Shiro.
Screw it. It had its chance. I just want to quickly make a little bit of a clarification because this entire time I've been very generic saying that I've just been like heavy range.
American looks so.
Ooh, noodles. So jealous.
in
Oh,
my
speaking
heart,
of
just
food.
saying.
I had noodles earlier.
Yeah.
He
Um,
forgot he had his.
So I haven't actually like specified exactly what type of weapon I've got yet. Could I retcon it and give myself something that I think would deal even more damage?
I mean, what are you thinking here?
Well, I thought that maybe something made out of flesh might be pretty susceptible to a flamethrower.
Wait, didn't you have a heavy range originally?
A flamethrower does count as a heavy ranged.
I mean, I don't know what kind of super soaker you're using, but like, go napalm, go, woo!
Those flamethrowers can shoot pretty far, mate.
We'll say that
Um,
if you want to find
no,
a
no,
new type
no.
of weapon, what?
That's not what I wanted to do. I did have something specific in mind for my weapon, but it's
Okay,
fine.
what are you thinking?
Well, I was thinking that with my fucking dough that I made off my last mission, that I'd go out and buy a pretty hefty weapon.
Okay. I think that would be reasonable because you had like 30 gal cred, if not more.
It's on the
I had
verge
a
of
lot.
death,
I
but
I
can
had
we
a
turn into a
lot.
vampire?
Well, I looked up the fucking weapons on the sheet and how much it would cost, and so I think it's only fair to say that I actually have a railgun on me.
Well, we'll do it like this. Because you have so much currency,
Yeah.
gal cred accumulated, you can spend one of your turns basically requesting a weapon. And what was that service that I came up with? It was called, it was like a Space Dash or something, like a delivery service for
Okay.
weapons. So you can roll to see if they can deliver your railgun that you purchased to you in that first turn, and it'll basically teleport down to you. What's up, Joe? Are you waving it?
Oh, I was saying, welcome back to Kitty.
Yeah. You want to try that?
Did I miss anything?
Welcome to the
No.
Noodle Club.
Sure, go for it.
All right, I'm gonna
You
roll for
could have found
advantage.
him.
Not yet. We're getting there.
All right,
It has
so
one. It has 1 HP left.
you rolled 3 threes, so it's gonna come to you
Mhm.
on the end of your turn.
That's
At the end of my
tragic.
turn. Okay.
And because it's so
Wait a second.
expensive, I'm gonna say it has a +2 or a +1, which basically means it has a 2 attack. Every time you use it for the first time in a campaign, so
Okay.
it has an extra surge. All right, but it'll come to you after this turn. But you have one more move.
Then I'll just
Use the
shoot
typical
it.
rifle.
Yeah.
All right. So use your typical rifle. You land a hit. The dragon's dead. You kind of shoot it in its chest. It kind of clutches its chest. It looks down at itself, and then it falls over and dies. All right. So there's been
I
quite a bit of
whistle.
commotion. Luckily for you, this facility looks to be abandoned. However, when the cages kind of imploded on themselves, they revealed like a hidden section of doors and hallways in one of the corners. So now we're back to our regular turn order. We're going to start with Witty.
I whistle taps as I walk back into the room since I haven't actually been in the room this entire time.
You see a dead dragon.
Uh, so you said, I'm sorry, a bunch of exposed new like secret doors.
um, yeah, there's like a secret hallway and a door at the end of it.
Convenient. I walk down it.
All right, you walk down it. You get to the end, and the door is open. You walk in, and you see what looks to be like a, a three-part room. So in the first part is a room with two terminals and two chambers on each side. So there's like a basically like a Y-shaped room, right? You're in the big open part, but on the left of you is a chamber with the door, and on the right of you is a chamber with the door, and there's like a glass window that you can see both the chambers. If that makes sense.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. So you might want to try to interact with the terminal if you can get into it somehow. You're not really sure if you'll be able to, but maybe one of your teammates could help you out.
Does the
Maybe
glass
someone
look
with a bit of
smashed?
code. What?
Does the glass look smashed? Well, yeah, I guess I might as well. Um, Mr. Collective, robotic gentleman, Sir Wires, you good with computers?
Yes.
The dramatic pause type,
Yeah.
I understand. Would you, help me get into this thing?
You want to
Don't
try
worry,
to
I'll
hack
say it
into the
for you.
computer, Joe?
Yes.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
He's running on Windows Vista. It's fine.
I'll give you an advantage because you do have the code that I mentioned before. You do, Joe. You managed to get into the terminal. and it basically says input creature into room A for output into room B. And that's all it says. It says activate yes, no. So it looks like unless one of you wants to be a test subject, you're gonna have to find something to put into one of the rooms and see what it does.
Yeah, there's Kitty. Well, we have the dead dragon.
Is
He
the
said
dragon
that.
gonna?
You could
pick
use the
him?
dragon. You have to drag it together to get it in there, but
Go ahead and take the pixie out. This is a good opportunity to.
oh, that is so fucked up. But yeah, go ahead.
Dang.
Just gonna kind of set pixie in what is it, room B?
Room A.
Room A. Set it in room A. Just kind of pet its head and be like, "It's okay. It's promotion time.
Okay.
You were a good intern." And then kind of step out.
And I'll say that with your robot eyes here, you record what happens. All right, Joe.
Yep.
I just want to say I am anticipating that room B is going to be a pile of bones.
What a convoluted way to murder.
All right. So we'll say the whole group kind of gets together to watch what happens in this room.
Or room A is going to be a pile of bones, and room B is going to be a holographic machine.
We'll see. So basically, you press a button, and both the rooms seal. The pixie kind of flies up and bangs its hands on the glass. You know, it's freaking out in there. Yeah, shh. A machine comes down and grabs the pixie by both its arms. While this is happening in room B, you see like a little tiny robot exoskeleton being built. And on room A, a little blade comes down and cuts the pixie's head off and like scalps it.
Oh no!
And then it takes the brain out of the pixie and it goes over to room B. And
Oh,
it
Kitty's
puts it
face.
in the robot exoskeleton. And the exoskeleton
Oh,
kind of
God.
falls down. And it like flies up again and it's trying to figure out what's going on. It's like looking at itself all freaked out.
That's
There's a
mine,
very
by the way.
specific GIF that reminds me of.
Guys, I gotta say that's how fucked up this is.
Yeah.
I knew,
That's
I knew you were gonna do that pixie. You see, this is why. This is why I look at you as the
So
bad
what's
guy.
going
Oh,
on,
I have to
guys?
imagine Kitty's facial expressions just looking at me like, "What the fuck?"
What have you figured out?
Well, that's quite useful.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What's going on this planet? Any ideas?
So,
Well,
did-
that pixie's
did it-
mine.
Did it
You're not
scan
gonna
the
harm this
pixie
pixie
at
any more than
all,
you
or
already
did it
have.
literally just take the brain out?
It basically made a reconstruction of its body, exact replica, took the brain out of the pixie and put it in the robot.
I'm gonna go ahead and secure the new digital pixie. Stuff it in my jacket.
You go to try to
You don't
secure
want
the
the
digital
strap?
pixie.
Adorable.
You roll a 5 and a 6, so you are able to grab it again. It seems to be very traumatized, so you just kind of tuck it in your shirt and it just lays there.
That's cool. PTSD is subservient, so that works for me.
You don't want the
Can I
leftovers
smack
from
Witty?
room A?
What? You gonna smack Witty?
This is fun.
You can, but I warn you now. I'm unemotional. I have no feeling, physical or otherwise.
All right.
This guy's made of electronics, but I am the robot.
Can I smack the shit out of him?
You go to
Like enough
smack.
to cause like, at least 1 damage.
You smack him. Unfortunately, you roll a 1 and a 3, so you just kind of like give him a little bit of a headache. All right. So, with that being said, you guys hear something. You hear an alarm going off in the facility. It sounds like there's something may have triggered an alarm here. So
Oh, dear.
nothing else is coming. You just realize the alarm's going off, so you might want to get out of there. We're back to the regular progression. So Witty, you did your first turn. What do you want to do with your second one?
The heart monitor on the dragon turned off.
I'm gonna ask the robot a second time. Is it possible to edit the programming so that we could control and have control over whatever we copy?
You want to hack it, Joe? You want to try that?
Let's do hack.
All right, you roll 2 5s, so you don't really get the ability to control a creature because the brain itself is what controls it. However, you realize that each one of these creatures has a kill switch of sorts, and if it does something you don't want it to do, you can kind of give it a little bit of a shock.
Word.
if we create it, or just any other creature like it that we encounter in the future.
Anything that you can recognize as one of these creatures using a collective like Joe, if he knows the right code, he can kind of send it towards them and buzz it, make it not attack you.
Nifty.
So do they all have the same code? Like, is it just a generic?
It's a code that
Code.
differs per species, but because you have the input code, like the access code needed for the module, you can get into it for each one.
So
What did you
Joe
say?
would be able to, for example, download the directory.
Yeah,
I just can't store it because I don't have a hard drive built in.
yeah.
That's the only problem.
You can look
Yeah,
at
but
it.
you have the basic memory
Up to the game master.
because, like, you have an identity and such.
True. Yeah.
He's able to
Mr.
look at the directory, but because it's so extensive, he's not able to store it all.
What am I able to store as far as
Quick,
just
someone shove a USB stick in his ass.
We'll say only in Gitmo. No, I'm just kidding.
what
So
the fuck?
I'll get my 3.5-inch floppy.
you're only able to store information on creatures you directly encounter.
You fucking what, mate? You want to stick a USB up my
All right.
Just
So
kidding.
you have the terms. So Witty, where are you going here? You got one more part. Of
Oh, do I? Oh, I thought that was two.
Oh wait, what was the second thing you did? You interface with the computer. That's right. Okay, now we're on
First
to
thing
Kitty.
was I brutalized my pixie. The second thing was now we can destroy robots.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Kitty.
Cat's like I told you.
Caddy's like, I pull out my gun.
Um.
Okay.
Okay. Have a question before we start. Can we do the same thing that he did to his pixie with dead animals? Or do they have to strictly
They have to be alive.
Can try.
Otherwise, it'd be a dead brain.
There wouldn't be a brain in there.
Yeah, I mean, they may have been decayed. It depends on how dead it is.
What about the dragon that we literally just?
I mean, that's still dead.
And even if it came back to life, the last thing it remembers is being hungry and hating me.
Yeah, you
Or,
just
well,
make a
yes.
mecha Ridley.
Brain dead is still dead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Okay. Okay.
Do you want to
makes
be
sense.
robotic?
So what we can do, guys, we can
Come near
actually.
me and I will kill you.
Yeah, I realize the campaign's been going for about the cap of what I was wanting to do, maybe 2 hours at max. So if you guys are cool with it, we'll pause the campaign here. I'm going to go ahead and give you this. We'll call this part 1 of the campaign. So you'll all get full experience, which basically means you get 3 points and you get another session added. I'm going to go and add this into the roster here. So let me go do that. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream too. Thanks for everybody for watching. If you're there on Twitch, I appreciate that. Have a great day.